Hi everyone, welcome. I'm Jenna. This is Applique Creations. And let's see if I can pull myself up today because yesterday y'all know it didn't work out. I'm surprised I got through that live. I know a couple people said that I kept I know a couple people said they kept losing me because but my internet went out like 5 minutes before. No, like 2 minutes before I went live. Come on. Let's load. Let's load. She might load. I don't know. So welcome everybody. Hi Donna. Hi. Say hi when you're here. I'm glad you're here. I have been up since 1:30. I have hardly slept in like 3 nights. So yeah, I'm in a little goofy mood. So y'all gonna have to just, that's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. So I either get extremely quiet and withdrawn when I'm overly tired, or I get giddy. So now you know what my husband goes through. Okay. Pull myself up today because, whoops, let's turn this volume down. I think we're working. There we go. Hi, Dorothy. Hi, Barb. Hi, Mom. So I'm glad you're here. What we're doing, excuse me, I still can't get rid of this cough. I don't know why I got one. Last year, we started doing all these quilt blocks. So after the other night, after we did that half square triangle block, which, yeah, it needs a lot of help. So we're going to, I have to redo that. That's why we're not doing it tonight. We're doing another one. So last year when we started these, we made this block. And we made this one exactly like the first one we did, where we took all the squares and we put them on fusible web and then sewed one way and then sewed the other and cut them open so that all of our intersections match up. So when we did this one, as soon as I put all these colors together. Oh, Barb, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you caught me live too. Hi, Brenda. I don't know if I said hi to you, but hi again. I saw a bunny in this one. Don't ask me why. I don't know. So since, we started doing, oh, thank you for sprinkling. We started doing a dish towel. Hi, how are you, Angelica? I thought, well, I have a whole scad of dish towels because when I was doing shows, I would do dish towels and pot holders to match. I found this towel. And it matches really nice with this quilt block. So we're doing a bunny. Hi, Dorothy. Oh, Jody, you're fine. You play with the little one. You need him. So let me turn you and put you up here because we're making a bunny. I've already ironed my towel, so you don't have to watch me do that. So I sat here today, and I can't tell you how many pieces of paper I went through. That's why I keep junk mail, because I can scribble on the back of it, making a pattern. So I made a pattern. And then I went and made copies of the pattern, and I enlarged it and reduced it to get one that looked right on the towel. So here's our head. So we can place it, I think, this way. And yeah, in my world, this is what color bunnies are. Yep. Now you know what Tony goes through. So this is my bunny color. And we're going to pin it. So we're going to do it on the back. So I wrote head on here because this is the front. Because all these pattern pieces You know, they go together. So I'm taking the front of my head and I'm putting it on the back. And I'm going to just put it right over so the two squares, those two lines right there, can you see that? That's our seams, are just about equal. So when you're doing patterns and you need more than one, you have to mirror your pattern piece. So your one pattern piece will go this way, this is your writing, and the other one will go that way. And you'll learn that in a pattern class because I did another video and uploaded it today. So y'all will be getting, if you're in the class is closed, y'all will be getting a couple text messages. So I'm going to cut this out, and I'm using pinking shears just to give another little dimension. This is applique, and I don't want that to scare any of you, that word, because if y'all been following me for a while, you know, we don't do complicated here. My ADHD will not allow complicated or long process projects. So that's our head. And we're saving our bits. So I need 2 ears, and I'm doing them the same way. The writing, and I'm just putting them down. I'm not matching up the colors because, you know, they're all different colors here. Hi, Sissy. Welcome. Barb, I wish you lived close because you want to send them to me. My hubby will do them. He does mine. So I'm not paying too much attention to how I'm placing these. I'm just trying to get them as close as I can so that I can have some of the block left to do on something else. So I hate wasting fabric. I know some of the videos you watch, they have this big square and they put their little tiny pattern piece in the middle. Oh, what about all the rest of that, you know? So I made him have wonky ears, and we're going to hand embroider, which is, you know, I don't do hand embroidery, so this is, you know, whiskers and those of you that I used to hand embroider. I have a few things that I made when I was in 7th grade, which is 600 years ago, and I can't tell you how I did that right now at all. Because I don't hand embroider. I haven't hand embroidered in probably 600 years. Hey, Kay. So we just started. We're making a bunny tea towel, dish towel. Whatever y'all call them, that's what they are. So there's that ear. There's that ear. So after our video the other day, doing a quilt block, I got a message from some real nice person. So I told them just to move on because we're learning to quilt. I'm learning to quilt, so I'm dragging y'all with me. So I've already cut out my ear shapes, and we're going to applique that. And here's this line, inner ear. So we're going to pin these. Now, I don't know about y'all, but when I was a kid in coloring, we would trace everything in black and then fill it in. So I am using black thread to highlight all of this. Isn't that going to be cute ear? I think so. So in my pretend world. So this bunny has a ladybug sitting on its ear. So let's get our towel and get this going. I know that. 600 years? Don't you know I'm as old as dirt? Ask my one granddaughter. She thinks I was around during the 1819 flu epidemic. So, yeah, during COVID, she had to do a report. So she called me and asked me for first-hand knowledge. So, in my little world, we have polka-dotted grass. So we're going to put this down. I'm just showing you what it's going to look like. And then we're going to take it apart and we're going to start piecing it together. Yeah, my granddaughter, she called me because they, doing homeschool, had to do a report. And she asked me for first-hand knowledge of the 1819 flu epidemic. I was like, you better do some math. I'm not quite that old, even though she thinks I'm ancient. So this is what it's going to look like. And our little ladybug will sit right up here. So that's what it's going to look like. Yep, so that's what it's basically going to look like. We got to do something for eyes. I haven't figured that one out, but we will. And then I have a button and lace or on ribbon. I don't know if we're going to put that around its neck. Probably. We'll see. So we're going to start with our little bunny. Now, when you do applique or you do like machine embroidery, you need interfacing. And normally, if you look at your embroidered t-shirts or sweatshirts, it's always on the back of your fabric. But this already has interfacing on it. So I'm thinking we're not going to need it. So I'm going to pin it, and we're taking it to the machine. And we're going to do a tiny zigzag all the way around. So this one does zigzag. Old singer over there, she won't do a zigzag. So, now when I'm, excuse me, before I do a zigzag, I always test it to make sure that the width and the length is right. So I'm just using a scrap piece of fabric. Now this is width 5 and length 1, which I don't think is right. So we're going to, yeah, no, that's not right. So I'm going to reduce that. See, you can see on the screen how tight you're making it or how big you're making it. Let's do another zigzag. Let's find another one. There, that's smaller. So you can make them wider, you can make them narrower. And I'm shortening the length. So it's going to be a real tiny little zigzag. But I'm still going to test it. Because I'd rather test it on scrap fabric than to go to my actual project and have to get the seam ripper out. So see, just a little tiny zigzag. And I think maybe make it a little tighter than that. So we're going to take this over and we're just going to zigzag around the whole thing. It's lagging. Thanks. I don't know what they're doing. They've been The trucks have been out in this neighborhood for a couple of days. I don't know why they were here yesterday working, but they messed everything up. And bring this puppy close so we can get up close and personal with it. So even though I'm doing this zigzag, I'm going to back stitch. Now on this machine, when you do a back stitch on anything but a straight stitch, this doesn't really move. Your machine might be the same way. It just keeps doing the back stitch right in the same stitch, and that locks your stitch in. So if you're doing a zigzag and you're like, this thing's not moving, your machine, maybe yours is doing the same thing. And I'm going close to the edge so I can go all the way around. So if you're doing a tiny zigzag, you can also do the buttonhole stitch. You'll get a tight zigzag that way also. If you can't adjust your machine, you can do the buttonhole stitch, and you can use a regular foot with the buttonhole stitch. You don't have to use the buttonhole foot. And this way, you won't get all the fraying because you're sealing in those edges. First off, because we have it interfaced on the back. So that's going to seal your edges. And then the zigzag is also going to help with fraying. So you don't want to push your fabric through the machine. You just want to glide it. So all I'm doing is turning my fabric. So once we get this on, we're going to switch and do another product too that y'all have seen before, and I've told you about it before, to keep all of our pieces from moving. So we're going to switch to an iron and an ironing mat. I had this thing. I love this shark iron, but if you let it sit for just a moment, it turns itself off. I know it's a safety thing, but it's a pain too. So Elmer's washable. It has to be washable. School glue. Y'all, hi Deborah. Y'all commenting and I'm not getting it over here. What is going on? Why do I always have these issues? Hey Debbie. Oh, thank you, Deborah, for sprinkling me out. So, if you use, it has to be washable, because if you don't do washable, it will harden your fabric, and you won't be able to sew it. Now, with this, you can use it, iron it dry, and then use it. It'll go right through your machine, but the other glue will not go through your machine. So, it doesn't have to be that brand, but it does have to be washable. And no matter the brand you use, because lids are always tight, it's purple. So what we're going to do is, because our grass and our feet and all of these little pieces, you can, but it's not easy to use straight pins with. Well, this is in place of straight pins. So we're just going to put it on, And it doesn't take very much at all. See, it goes on purple. And even if you're using white fabric, the purple does not show. So we're going to put his nose on. And it sticks. That replaces your straight pins. So this is really good if you're sewing little tiny things. Or you want to sew things together like this, and you don't want them to move. And see that folded down, so I'm going to press it with the glue and it'll hold it so I can sew it. Now see, it's stuck there. Can you see that? It's stuck there. Now it's not a permanent hold. You can't do it permanently. You have to sew it. But I'm going to glue all of this and then iron it dry. And make sure you don't have any little pieces of thread or lint or anything like that. But see, you can pull it back off and move it. Are you all getting me? Because I keep circling over here. Now you don't have to use very much of this. Because all you wanted to do is just hold it while you sew it. And once we put the iron on it, it'll be good. So we're going to hold off on the grass and we're going to hold off on the ladybug. And always, this dries out really fast if it's just sitting. So make sure when you put your lid on, it clicks. So then you just take your iron and put on it. Oh, I'm glad you're seeing me because my phone is circling. Oh, did you? Okay. So I probably should have brought some buttons over here. We could use those for eyes. It keeps lagging out of focus. I'm not sure what's going on with my internet. Okay, you just have to wait a second, just till it starts to cool off. And you'll know it because you'll be able to touch it. When you first take your iron off, you know how hot your fabric is. So when you put your hands on it, and see, it's on there. It's not coming off. So it's going to hold while you zigzag everything. Wonder why it's blurry. That's weird. So I'm going to do inside the ears first. And then I'm going to go around the rest of this. The hardest part of this whole project was coming up with my bunny design. I have all kinds of silhouettes. I went around all of that, and none of them I liked. So I'm going almost to the edges. And this, I'm going to slow my speed way down because of it being the nose. So when you're looking for simple little patterns for stuff like this, look at preschool coloring books. Those are the best patterns. And you can make a copy of it, cut it all apart like you saw. I have all those pieces. So you can keep your original and just cut apart your copy. So see, that black is just highlighting everything just like we did when we were kids. Oops. Doing crayons. Now, you see, I turned that too soon. So I'm just going to trim it because there's nothing says how big on something like this that your pattern piece has to be. It's your design, so you can trim it down any way you want. So there's the nose. So I'm moving this so my needle comes right to that point on that ear. Hi, Regina. How are you? So I want my needle point to be right on the point of that ear. That's why I kept moving it. So the strawberry that we were doing, the quilt block, I was putting it together so that y'all didn't have to watch me sew all those squares. And then I looked at it at the end, and I have 3 blocks that's going the wrong way. And one row is like, I'm not sure what happened. It's totally wonky. So I have to take it back apart. That's why we're not doing that one. We're going to do it, but I got to take it back apart. So for me, personally, doing my squares with the fusible is so much easier than trying to sew one square to the other. Because that's how that got all wonky. And see, I'm sewing this with absolutely no pins. And these pieces are not moving. And I'm turning my fabric or my towel. And nothing is moving. That glue is holding it all in place. Now, when you wash this, all that glue is going to disappear out from underneath of all the pieces. And it is not going to stain your fabric because it's purple, but it dries clear. So if you had a piece of white fabric, you could still use that washable glue, but make sure it's washable. I made that mistake one time and ruined my project because it was, when I put the iron on it, it hardened it so bad. It was awful. So I hope everybody had a good weekend. Tony and I did nothing. He just needed a weekend to do nothing because his job gets crazy at times. So besides coming up with your pattern, which is the hard part, and getting your pieces cut out, it goes together pretty quick. I know, Dorothy. I agree. Yeah, just do nothing. I had a bit of a flare-up going on this weekend. This stupid weather doesn't stop changing from cold to hot, cold to hot. I let my body catch up. See how nice that black does? Make sure I don't have any towel underneath of that. There you go. There's the ear. And see, I'm moving this around and all these pieces are staying put. So let me get this needle right in that point of that ear. So I ordered an open toe foot. What that means is there's no centerpiece here. So you can actually see exactly where your needle is going in. Now, most sewing, you don't want to watch your needle. You want to watch your lines. So your lines, your seams stay straight. Including me, I get in a habit of watching my needle. But on something like this, I need to watch my lines. So when you try to get out of the habit of watching your needle go up and down, because your needle's not moving. Your fabric's going to move on you, but your needle's never going to move. So that's where a lot of people have a problem keeping their lines straight, because they're watching the needle and not watching their fabric. So I had to block a couple people today from my page. One was a captain in the army, which we all know he wasn't. And the other was a longtime follower who just got nasty because she wants more crafting and not sewing. So I just told her to just move on. There's lots of crafters that do nothing but crafting. Oh, you watch your foot. Okay. Yeah. Well, this has a clear piece plastic in the middle of the 2 feet, but even that gets in my way when I'm trying to do something like really delicate. So I ordered an open toe foot, so it'll have these 2 metal pieces and nothing in the center. But yeah, a lot of people just watch the needle, but the needle's never going to move. It's always going to go straight. It's your fabric that moves. And that's why a lot of people have problems sewing a straight seam. So I have bunnies in my kitchen year round. So when I do bunnies, they're hardly ever Eastery. They're normally more generic. So there's the ears, the nose, the head. Yeah, I use a 1/4 inch for mostly everything too, but when I'm doing stuff like this, I like to see exactly where my needle is, and it's hard to see that, especially when you're doing little pieces. That's why I got off on the nose. So an open toe foot is a 1/4 inch foot, but with that you only see the needle. You don't have anything in front of the needle. So that's why I ordered one. I can't believe how expensive sewing feet are. Crazy. Rethread my thread. Am I at a bobbin? No. Okay, it's telling me to rethread my thread, but it's already threaded. So when I get weird, like this tells me, this talks to me. When I get weird messages like telling me to rethread my upper thread and it's already threaded, I always look at the top of my machine and make sure that everything is threaded where it should be, all these little guides, because once in a while she jumps a guide for some reason. So it's all, I don't know. So we're just going to ignore her. Huh. Well, she didn't sew a stitch. How dare her. Yeah. On my Telegram, I posted a picture of what different feet are and what their names are. So you can download that, because if I don't use a foot for a long time, I have no clue what it is. I have to look it up. So I found that online, I don't know how many years ago, and I put it on Telegram. Maybe she just needed a break. That's why she told me my machine wasn't threaded. Maybe she's having a Monday too. Make sure I'm not sewing the other part of that. I think I have a ruffling foot that I want to learn to use. I don't know why I never tried it. I paid like over $100. Oh, good. I'm glad you do. A long time ago. When I was doing a ton of doll dresses, I bought a ruffler, and I never used it. It looks like it's like you need a degree to run it. Now let's see what we got. Let's see how neat the back is. We just have to cut those extra little threads off. But look, there's a quilt block. That's one thing you can do with a quilt block. So you don't necessarily... I keep saying I'm going to do that, Barb, but I've not done that yet. I have this little plastic box I have all my feet in, and I'm like, what is this? What is that? And one of these days I'm going to do that. So that's what we've got so far. So I'm just going to trim this extra little piece of fabric here. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Dorothy. So there's our bunny body. So I'm looking over here at my picture. What else? I got to do eyes and a mouth. And we got to do our ladybug and our grass. There they are. I'm like, I lost them. Okay. I did the stupidest thing today, y'all. I took my regular iron and I sat it on my cutting mat and melted it. That was the dumbest thing I think I've ever done. Well, for quite a while anyway. I have one of those sets too. Now, Singer over there, she's cranky. She won't do anything but a straight stitch. But this one I can use all kind of feet on. So we could have done Easter eggs if you want to make this totally Easter. So I don't think, I'm not going to put a button on her. Thank you. So then the ladybug will sit up here. So let's get all this glued. And then I'm going to grab a button box and get buttons for eyes. So since I'm not working now, I'm trying to grow nails. And I hate stuff under my nails. That drives me crazy. So we're just going to put that up there. So see, when you're doing these tiny little things, don't fight straight pins. I used to do that all the time until when I had my store. I was going to classes that they used to have in Ohio at trade shows, and there was a doll maker there, and she was showing how to use this stuff, and I was like, oh my God. Oh yeah, I can show you how to do, you need a buttonhole foot for that. But yeah, definitely. And that just like changed my world using this glue. So I'm getting these points more than I am the straight part. Let's see, how far do I want to take that over? Just about there. I sure can. You have feet all over the place. What you need to do, and I need to do what Barb just suggested. Get one of those little plastic boxes, and one of these days I will do that. Every time I go looking for a foot, I think, oh, I'm going to do that. And I don't do it. But it would make life so much easier. That's probably why I don't do it, because it would make things too easy. Now my fingers are sticky. Yep. Oh, Angelica suggested that. Okay. Is she cooled down again? So when I laid this out all out earlier, it didn't look right just sitting on the bottom of the towel. That's why I'm adding grass. But if you want to make it Eastery, you could put eggs on it. Eastery, that's not really a word. I guess it is now. So see, they're not coming off. And me shaking that towel, that glue is not letting them fall off. I'm having such a hard time getting used to this little room when I'm used to such a big one. So let's do a bug. Let's do do move it a little. There we go. Now I'm slowing this way down to do this face on this bug. I know, Donna. Why are you telling me to check and rethread my thread when it's already done? I don't understand. She's being cranky. You know what? She hasn't acted right since I cleaned her. Maybe I should have left her dirty. At least she's not making that noise anymore. She was making an awful noise. So I took her all back apart, put her back together. But this machine is temperamental. She starts acting up. I say, okay, you're going on a shelf. I'll get another one out. I started collecting machines one year at Christmas when I was doing all these memory bears and my machine died. And I was like, oh no. So I started buying more machines, but I bought them used from Marketplace, most of them. But my embroidery machines, I was always afraid to buy used. And this one is both, so she's a backup. I'm talking about. Aw, poor little guy. He's tired. Jody, you wore him out. So there's our bug. And let's do our grass. Uh-oh, what did you do, Barb? Why are you doing this? She needs cleaned again. Maybe that's her issue. I just cleaned her all out. My old Singer is so nice to clean. because she sits on a base. So you just lift it up, clean it all out, close it, you're done. Now you break your thread. Listen, Cranky, you didn't sew anything. She said you was sewing on me all day today. I need a break. So I'm just sewing away. So you all, this is why I don't do pre-records and edit anything, because I want you all to see, no matter how many years you've been sewing, you're still going to struggle at times when your machine decides to be cranky. There we go. Now we're cooking. I was just sewing along there. If that thread not broke, I would have been clear to the other end and not had a stitch. So because of Easter, our pattern reading class, I'm going to finish up what I'm already doing for it this week, and we're going to start it on Monday. So you all will be getting messages and an invite to my learning class. So we don't go through what we did in September when I did the free doll class, because my whole month of October was messed up because of that class. Good. So you'll be getting your printable pattern, and print it in color because of the different sizes. This pattern goes from extra small to 20 or 24. So there's lines on it so that you can print the cut the right size. Oh, yeah. Some PDFs are so hard to follow because they don't give you all the directions. I have one pattern that I actually had to rewrite myself, and the pattern was so cute, but her directions were like, did she leave a page out or something? I have some that I've made that I put an X on the front. Like, nope, we're not doing this one again. done that. You run out of bobbin, and at least this machine tells you. It talks to you, hey, your bobbin's empty. But my other ones, no, it'll just let me sew forever. I was doing a t-shirt quilt one time. Great big long rows, and I'm doing all these rows, and I had to go back and do them again because my bobbin ran out. They don't last forever, but you know, I think they should. And that quilt was 9.5 feet by 9.5 feet. So yeah, that was a lot of sewing to go back and do. That was the biggest t-shirt quilt I ever made. Tony has pictures, and we put several tables together, and I got up on the tables to get the thing pinned. That man had a fortune in that shirt, or in that quilt. They were all brand new Harley Davidson shirts that he collected all over the country. I took the tags off all of them. You've not made one? Well, I don't do traditional quilting. That's why I'm trying to learn. Baby clothes quilts, t-shirt quilts, you know, like memory type things, memorial stuff, but never a traditional quilt. So, oh, they're pinned to the top of my page. Some of the baby clothes quilts, t-shirt quilts, some of them are up there. I'm not sure if the Harley Davidson one is. Yeah, I didn't think I was ever going to get that Harley Davidson quilt made. It's like, oh my gosh. Of me on the table, my hands and knees. No, that one's not on there. I can put that one though. Tony was snapping pictures and I didn't even know he was doing it. That was when I had the thrift store. I think I had 3 or 4 tables lined up and I was on top of them, pinning this sucker together. They weren't very flattering pictures, Jody. Tony was worried the tables were going to collapse because they were folding tables. What, the ones that's not flattering? I got it done. He was happy. That's all that mattered. I tried laying across the table trying to reach the center of that quilt. I couldn't, so I had to get up on my hands and knees on top of the table. I know. I know. I'll look for those pictures. They're buried in my phone somewhere. Or they're in the cloud. I know, Barb. Some days y'all probably think, man, she has lost it. What is up with her today? Y'all just get a small taste of what my hubby goes through. So, besides the antennas on the ladybug that we're going to embroider, and Bunny's mouth, and eyes, this is done. So I'm going to put you down for a second, and I'm going to go grab my button box for eyes. We could embroider eyes. We could do that. Okay. So, this is one. Do y'all just like to run your fingers through your buttons? I do. There's a little one. So when I tell y'all I got buttons, this is only one. I've got 5 of these. Plus, I don't know how many juice bottles full of buttons. Close up and personal. I want you to be introduced to her. Where'd that little one go? I had it in my fingers and lost it. Right? I have tons. Tons. I have 5 of these. And I don't know how many juice bottles full of buttons. So if y'all ever need buttons, shoot me a message. Okay, those 2 work. Those containers are from IKEA. They have a wooden lid, so they stack really, really nice. So I have embroidery floss. Now, if this was, I was going to sell this, I would embroider the eyes. But for me, this is going to be decorative. So, yep, it is a lot of buttons. Well, ask Jody, 600 years of sewing and collecting. I said that one time, I've been sewing for 600 years. And she's not let me forget that. Yes, come visit. You can run your fingers through the button box too. I think that is so relaxing. So I think she needs a little bow on her head. That's right. This is 601. You're right. You're absolutely right. Oh, my Mrs. Well, I'm coming right to the chat and I'm going to blame all of you. I'm going to say, okay, which one of you came to Georgia? I know. It would be tragic. Lose all your buttons. Can you imagine what the police would say to that when you're reporting the stolen what? My button boxes are gone. And I know who did it. You have to go all over the country, though, to get them. I know you do. That's what I said. I'm going to blame all of you. Because that last person, she had my address, but I don't live in that house anymore, so she can't find me. So those of you who do not know that haven't followed me forever and a day, one of my followers became a stalker last year. Donna's already confessing. Well, she's the closest to me, y'all, I think. No, Julie is, but I think it would be Donna. Yep, she's confessing already. Yep, so she's telling us exactly what she's going to be doing. Yep, those of you up and yep, you're not that far, so I'm going to say, here's the addresses. Go find my button boxes. No, Barb, it's normally the ones you don't expect. So I'm going to give them your address, too, because I have your address, too. Okay, let's do her mouth. Call 911. They probably wouldn't even send the police. She's missing her button boxes and her mind. I dropped one of these one time. I forgot to grab buttons when I had the thrift shop. I was going live. So I hurried up, went in the back room and grabbed one and dropped it all over the floor. My poor husband, it was so sweet. He said, don't worry about it. I got it. And he cleaned it up. So I'm just making a straight line down from the nose to the mouth. And that was a bigger container than this one is. He cleaned it all. He picked all those buttons up. And distribute them. So I'll just tell the police, keep watching their mail. They get buttons. Yep, that's where they went. No, I'm serious. Y'all ever need buttons, just let me know. I'll share. Yeah, that stalker, I tell you what, I worked in one town, lived in one town. My address was a different town. So I had to get all those different police forces involved, plus my company. Yeah, she was going, thank goodness my company was really big that I worked for. And there's a whole bunch of different offices around, because she was going around to all the different offices in the town that my address was, looking for me. Thank God they didn't know me. Yeah, that was like creepy. And she actually got extremely mad at me. So the one police department, they got her police department involved. Yeah, it was an ordeal for a while. Yeah, Dorothy, it was terrible. Tony wouldn't let me go anywhere by myself. And at that time we worked for the same company, but two different facilities. And he was constantly calling. Yeah, Donna, it was bad. So I informed all the creators that I knew that she was following, be careful, because like she was even asking about Jody, and I'm like, Jody's not even in Georgia. But I let everybody know that, no, be careful. Yeah, I did report her to Facebook too, but she was off of her meds, and her husband had to get involved. So yeah, it was for about a month and a half. It was like, please, geez, leave me alone. And because she had purchased from a sale, she had my address. So now I understand why everybody gets post office boxes. Thank you. Yeah, I let everybody know, hey, if she's following you, be careful, because she's looking for creators to show up at their houses. Yeah, she was adamant about it. But she got so mad at me. She was just down the road from me that one day. Leave work. Come meet me. I want to go to lunch. I ate lunch at my desk. I never left. You can't leave. Yeah, she didn't believe me that I ate lunch at my desk. Then she wanted to come to my office. So I had to let everybody at the front desk know, hey, if this lady comes asking for me, you're going to have to lie for me, because like, I don't believe in lying, but, So I'm doing 2 antennas. And then I put a little circle at the top of that one. Then the owner of the company got involved, because, if she did show up, who knows what she was going to do. I was like, I sit in my little office, don't do anything. No one even knows I'm there most of the time. So I'm just doing straight lines. See, I'm going up a little bit, putting my needle in, coming back out with very little fabric on my needle. Yep. Oh, she got, right before she started looking for me, all hours of the night, she would try to FaceTime me. Well, that Christmas, Tony got me a new phone, because I don't like iPhones. I got an Android. So he got me a new Android. You can't FaceTime on Android. And she didn't understand that. She thought I was lying to her. I don't know how many times in my videos I would say I cannot FaceTime from, you can't FaceTime from Android to iPhone. And she didn't believe me. She thought I was lying to her. She kept getting madder and madder and madder. It was scary. Yeah, it was so scary that I started carrying again. Tony wouldn't leave me at home by myself. It's like he put cameras every side, every corner of our property. He put cameras. So Bunny got a mouth, got antennas. Let's do a bow. I'm like, why does this weird stuff always happen to me? I don't know. Some people just can't be nice to, but she would FaceTime me in the middle of the night. I would wake up. I had to leave my phone on the opposite end of the house so I could sleep. One day she cleaned her house and she FaceTimed me so she could show me. So I'm going to put that bow right there. Thank you, Dorothy. Yeah, it was, it was beginning of last year. Oh, yeah, that was this past winter. Yeah, he was looking in my window. Oh, so why does this weird stuff happen to me? So there you go. A dish towel. I'll sew that on later. I might give her little eyebrows too. In my picture, she has eyebrows. But there's a dish towel made from a quilt block. Yes, it does. Everything needs a little bow. You can do what they call it. I call it the preschool bow because my granddaughter, when she was going to preschool, showed it to me. So you make 2 loops and just overlap them and pull 1 loop through, and you just make a simple little bow. Just a simple bow. And then when you make them, you don't want to pull it like extremely tight. Just leave it a little loose. You have a simple little bow. So 2 loops, overlap one over the other, and you make a loop. Just pull it through. So you can make it as big as or as small as you want. Thank you. Thank you, Barb. Hi, Jan. You snuck in. I didn't see you sneak in. Deborah, are they picking on you? Thank you. So, Jan, I sent you a picture of the strawberry diagram that I finished. I did it through Messenger. But there you go. So it's half of an oval for the head, 2 little ovals for the feet, and almost like a teardrop for the 2 ears. And then the ladybug is an oval and a circle that I cut the bottom of it off. A loop-de-loop. There you go. SpongeBob. I never watched that. So, thank you all. Thank you for the hearts. I really appreciate it. So, I hope y'all like the dish towel. So, this will hang in my kitchen year round because it's not Eastery. You're welcome. So, God bless you all. Thank you for hopping on. Wednesday, I'm in an event. I'm not sure what time I'll post it. I know, Jody, you do have a song for everything. Have a great night, everybody.